You probably noticed the Senate was back in session yesterday. Mitch McConnell was trying to get the Patriot Act renewed or the USA Freedom Act. I mean, it's reaching the point, I think, where they'll take pretty much anything in order to keep spying on us. What happened to the land of the free and the home of the brave? I mean, Rand Paul is taking this head on. Now, his motives may not be pure. Certainly his colleagues are suggesting out loud and open that his motives are not pure. But I think that he's right. And I mean, this is from part of his speech on the floor of the Senate. He said, people here in this town think I'm making a huge mistake. Some of them, I think, secretly want there to be an attack on the United States so they can blame it on me. Do we blame the police chief for the attack of the Boston bombers? The thing is, there can be attacks even if we use the Constitution. And there have been attacks while we've been collecting our bulk data. So the ones who say when an attack occurs, it's going to be all your fault, meaning my fault, Rand Paul, are any of them willing to accept the blame? We have bulk collection now. Are you willing to accept the blame for the Boston bombing or the recent shooting in Garland, Texas? No, but they'll be the first to point fingers and say, oh, yeah, it's all your fault. So the Senate voted 77 to 17 to move forward the USA Freedom Act, which is just a scaled-back version of Section 215 of the Patriot Act. Slightly scaled back with all kinds of workarounds. And by the way, the Department of Justice already has workarounds. It's not like they just shut everything off last night at midnight. Victoria Jones, in her news summary for the day, is reporting the Justice Department may invoke a so-called grandfather clause to keep using those powers for investigations that had started before June 1st. Apparently, if you start an investigation before June 1st, when the law expires, you can continue to do it. Well, if they're collecting all of our phone numbers, and apparently they are, all of our phone activity, among other things, then it's not like, hey, we were investigating this one guy, this biker down in Waco. We got it, so we can continue watching him. No. A visibly angry McConnell, writes Victoria Jones, made a last-gasp attempt. McConnell gave a stern speech, sometimes staring at Rand Paul, saying that letting the provisions expire would, I'm quoting McConnell, would mean disarming completely and arbitrarily based on a campaign of disinformation. So to point out that the U.S. Second Circuit Court of Appeals has ruled that the way that we're using the Patriot Act's Section 215 is against the law is apparently a campaign of disinformation. Rand Paul got up and said, it concerns me that the president who supports bulk data collection has been performing it illegally for 6 years is supporting this bill. He's talking about the USA Freedom Bill. It's hard for me to have trust in the people we're giving power to. And this is where it gets really gnarly. In a closed-door meeting, Victoria writes, Sunday, Republicans lashed out at Senator Rand Paul's defiant stance. Senator Dan Coates even accused Rand Paul of lying to raise money for his presidential campaign.